Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're tackling a question that's definitely been on investors' minds. Is Synopsys a good time to buy right now? We've gathered all the recent information you've shared to give you the clearest possible picture of the company. And hey, before we really jump in, if you find this kind of analysis helpful, please do take a second to subscribe, maybe like this discussion, and definitely leave us a comment. Oh, and if there's another company you want us to look into next, just let us know down below. All right, let's unpack this. Synopsys. They're a giant in electronic design automation, right? Absolutely essential for chip design. But they've been making headlines, especially after that recent Q3 earnings report. Interesting. So we've got a lot to sift through, the fundamentals, the technicals, recent news, what might be coming down the pike.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here, I think, is you have this company with really strong tech leadership, solid financials, but then you see these market reactions, like after earnings, that really highlight how complex investing can be. Our job today is to connect those dots, between the company's health and what the market seems to be thinking, to see what really stands out for Synopsys now.
Okay, great. Let's start with the basics then. How healthy is Synopsys financially? Let's look at the core numbers. Their Q3 fiscal 25 revenue came in at $1.74 billion. That's up 14% year over year from about $1.53 billion in Q3 of fiscal 24. So decent growth there.
Solid top-line growth, yeah.
And their non-GAAP net income for that quarter was around $549 million. That gives them a non-GAAP profit margin of roughly 31.5%.
Which is a very healthy margin. Definitely points to operational efficiency.
Right. And looking at the first 9 months of fiscal 25, that non-GAAP net income hit almost $1.6 billion, up a bit from the $1.53 billion in the same period last year. So steady earnings growth overall for the year so far. Okay, what about the balance sheet? Financial health beyond just earnings? Well, they had about 155 million shares outstanding as of early September 25. More importantly, looking back slightly to October 31st, 2024 figures, they had $1.49 billion in cash.
Okay.
Against total debt of $1.15 billion.
So a net cash position.
Exactly. That's a strong sign, right? Plus, they generated $1.41 billion in free cash flow in fiscal 24.
Absolutely. Connecting this to the bigger picture, Synopsys really demonstrates solid financial footing. That net cash position is key. And the strong free cash flow, that's, a powerful indicator of stability and efficiency. It lets them reinvest heavily back into the business.
Like R&D.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Especially crucial in their field. It gives them flexibility.
Makes sense. So financially, they look pretty robust. What about their actual position in the market? How do they stack up against competitors?
Well, Synopsys is undoubtedly a leader in EDA software, electronic design automation. It's critical stuff for semiconductor design. Their main rivals are names you'd probably recognize: Cadence Design Systems, Siemens EDA. It's a concentrated field.
Very much so. High stakes.
And Synopsys has some advantages. High customer switching costs, for one.
Yeah.
Once you're using their tools, it's hard and expensive to change.
Sticky customers.
Yeah, sticky long-term contracts, too. And they're seen as a leader in AI-driven chip design tools, which is obviously a hot area. Plus, as you mentioned, they pour money into R&D to stay ahead.
And this brings up a really important question, doesn't it? In such a competitive, high-tech industry, how does a company like Synopsys actually maintain its edge long-term? That combination of high R&D spending and those high switching costs creates a pretty significant moat. It makes it really difficult for customers to just jump ship, even if a competitor comes along with slightly different terms or pricing. So that moat is key for their long-term growth prospects.
Absolutely critical.
Okay, fundamentals look strong, competitive position seems solid despite rivals. Let's shift gears now and look at the technical picture. What's the chart telling us? Where has the stock price actually been trading? Well, from early August through about September 10th, 2025, it was mostly bouncing between $610 and $680, kind of a range there. We've identified support levels seemingly around that $605 to $620 zone.
Okay, holding above 600.
Yeah. And resistance seemed to be capping at around $670 to $685. Now, looking at the indicators, the 50-day moving average is near $640. The price was actually testing that support recently.
Right around that level.
The longer-term 200-day moving average, that's down in the $590 to $600 range. But importantly, it still has an upward slope, suggests the longer trend is intact.
Right. The underlying trend still looks positive based on that.
Then you have the RSI, Relative Strength Index. It recently dropped near the 48 to 55 area. So momentum slowed down, but it's not really signaling oversold yet.
Not extreme, yeah.
Yeah.
Just less bullish momentum.
And the MACD indicator, it showed a slight bearish crossover in early September. There was increased volatility, and the price seemed to be consolidating, just kind of hovering above those main support levels we mentioned.
What's fascinating here is that consolidation. You've got the longer-term trend, like you said, the 200-day pointing up. But the shorter-term signals, the RSI, the MACD, they're suggesting a pause, a loss of that immediate upward momentum.
So indecision.
Exactly. It really indicates a period of indecision in the market. Investors are sort of weighing the latest news, especially those earnings, against the company's established track record and underlying strengths. It's a wait-and-see moment on the charts.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's talk about that news then, specifically the Q3 earnings, because this is where things got, well, really interesting. So September 9th, 2025. Synopsys reports Q3 revenue $1.74 billion. Like we said, 14% year-over-year growth. Sounds good on the surface.
Right.
However, it missed analyst estimates. And the non-GAAP EPS, earnings per share, also fell short of expectations.
The miss. That's often the trigger.
Yeah. And management pointed partly to weakness in their IP segment, intellectual property, and also ongoing restrictions related to China. The market reaction, swift and significant. The stock plunged about 22% in pre-market trading.
Ouch. That's a big move for a company of this size and stability.
Definitely. Management, of course, addressed it on the call. They talked about actions to improve that IP business and really highlighted the long-term growth they expect from integrating Ansys. Which brings us to the acquisition. They finalized that big Ansys deal back on July 17th, 2025. That significantly expands their product offerings.
A major strategic move, absolutely. Integration and synergy realization, there will be key focuses for investors going forward.
And what about analysts and insiders? Sentiment there. Well, most major brokers actually kept their buy or overweight ratings on Synopsys even after the miss. They seem focused on the long-term AI and semiconductor design exposure. We didn't see widespread downgrades.
Interesting. So the street largely kept the faith despite the short-term hiccup.
Seems like it. On the insider front, the CFO, Shayla Glazer, did sell about 11,000 shares between early June and early September. But importantly, these sales were under a pre-scheduled 10b5-1 trading plan.
Right, which is pretty standard for executives. It allows them to sell shares over time without being accused of trading on non-public info, usually not seen as a major negative signal in itself.
Exactly. But it's still data point investors watch.
For sure. And this whole episode really raises an important question about how the market digests information, doesn't it? You have this core business showing strong growth, a strategic acquisition like Ansys boosting the long-term picture, but then a short-term earnings miss combined with those sector headwinds like China and the IP weakness leads to this maybe disproportionately large reaction.
A classic overreaction, perhaps.
Could be. It's a classic example of how even fundamentally sound companies can face serious short-term volatility based on sentiment and headlines. The insider sales, while normal, just add another small piece to the overall picture investors are piecing together.
Okay, so we've covered the fundamentals, technicals, recent news. What's next? What should we be watching for in the coming months, and what are the potential risks? Well, upcoming catalysts. Short term, the big one is the next earnings report, Q4 fiscal 25. That's expected late November or early December. That'll be crucial.
Definitely. Guidance will be key there.
Any new product or partner announcements, especially around EDA or AI chip design, could also move the needle on sentiment. And there are market events, too. Major ETF rebalancing happens September 16th. Institutional holdings disclosures, those 13Fs, are due October 2nd. Those can sometimes cause ripples.
Yeah, seeing where the big funds are positioning.
Long-term, the big catalyst is just the continued secular growth in demand for advanced chips, for AI accelerators. Synopsys is right in the middle of that.
That underlying trend is powerful.
So for the next quarter, the key focus will definitely be that November earnings call. Updates on Ansys integration, any recovery in the IP segment, and the overall guidance. Plus, watching institutional buying and AI product traction. Now, beyond the official stuff, there are always rumors, right? Speculative catalysts.
Always whispers.
We've heard some chatter about maybe divesting some non-core IP assets to streamline things, rumors of accelerated AI chip partnerships maybe being announced, some speculation that Ansys integration benefits might actually come in better than initially forecast. That would be a positive surprise.
That would certainly help sentiment.
And you sometimes see social media chatter about potential board or executive changes when a stock takes a hit like this, though nothing concrete there. But we also have to talk risks. What are the potential pitfalls? Stock-specific risks? Well, customer concentration. Losing a huge customer would hurt.
Sure, if one big client pulls back.
Acquisition integration risk, especially with something as big as Ansys. It's complex. It might not go smoothly or deliver the expected synergies on time.
A common challenge with large M&A.
And high legal and IP risk, just given how competitive the EDA space is. Then there are market and sector risks. The whole semiconductor sector is cyclical, exposed to global economic conditions.
Macro headwinds are always a factor.
And of course, ongoing competitive pressure from Cadence and others, they're not standing still.
No, definitely not. If you connect all this, it's clear Synopsys operates in a really dynamic environment, the Ansys integration. Huge long-term potential, no doubt. But it absolutely comes with integration risks that need careful management. The market is going to be laser-focused, looking for hard evidence of successful synergy capture, and critically, signs that the IP segment is turning around.
So a big test for management.
Absolutely. It really raises the question, how effectively can management execute on these big strategic priorities while also navigating all these macroeconomic and competitive headwinds? It's a tough balancing act.
Okay, so we've looked at it from all these different angles. The fundamentals, the chart, the news, the future outlook, the risks. What does this all mean for someone sitting here today thinking about Synopsys? You've looked at everything. What's the overall assessment? Well, if we had to put a number on it, maybe a qualitative rating, it leans towards, say, a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
The strengths are pretty clear. You've got undeniable technology leadership, especially in critical growth areas like AI, robust financial health, that net cash position, strong margins, great free cash flow. That gives them resilience and options.
Big pluses.
And they're riding powerful secular trends in semiconductors and AI. Plus, their revenue and earnings have held up reasonably well despite sector headwinds. But there are weaknesses. You can't ignore them. The valuation is definitely elevated. It's trading well above sector averages. Suggests high expectations are already baked in.
Priced for perfection, maybe?
Could be. The recent insider selling, even though it was planned, adds a slight note of caution for some. And the technicals, as we discussed, show consolidation, not strong upward momentum right now. Market's undecided. And obviously that Q3 earnings miss and the big stock drop are significant short-term concerns. They've clearly hurt sentiment.
So mixed bag in the near term.
Yeah. So when we think about the investment horizon, for short-term trading, it feels neutral to maybe mildly positive.
Yeah.
There's potential volatility ahead, especially around earnings. The price is consolidating, waiting for a trigger.
Needs a catalyst.
Right. But for long-term investment, the picture looks more favorable. Their leadership in EDA, the growing market, the strong balance sheet that supports an attractive multi-year story. However, timing your entry seems pretty crucial right now, given the current valuation and the market risks we talked about.
You know, what's fascinating here is exactly that contrast. You've got this fundamentally strong company, a leader in a critical growth industry, great long-term story. Yet, it's facing these immediate short-term pressures, the IP segment, China, the earnings miss aftermath, and it carries a valuation that already seems to reflect a lot of future success.
Right.
So, for the long-term investor, maybe it's about being patient, looking for those strategic entry points, perhaps on further dips or signs of stabilization. For shorter-term traders, that recent volatility and the current consolidation, that presents a whole different set of challenges and opportunities, requires maybe more active management.
This has been a really comprehensive look at Synopsys. It's clear that while the company definitely has strengths, a compelling long-term narrative, that recent earnings miss and the market's sharp reaction really highlight why careful consideration is so important.
Indeed. It's all about understanding that mix the strong fundamentals, the recent, maybe more emotional market sentiment, and what catalysts or risks lie ahead. The question for you, the listener, really boils down to how you personally weigh that long-term potential against the current, perhaps stretched, valuation and the undeniable short-term volatility and uncertainty.
Exactly, and maybe something for you to think about after listening. How much of Synopsys' future growth from AI, from integrating Ansys successfully, is already reflected or priced into that stock price today, especially given its valuation? And related to that, what new information, something truly unexpected, would actually surprise investors in the next few quarters and genuinely shift the current narrative around the company? Lots to consider. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Synopsys. We'll be back soon with another company analysis for you.